What's going on, everybody? Let's hop right into this. Times Americans proved they had no idea how the world works. Number one, tariffs will bring some prices down, hopefully. Like the iPhone and the Samsung phone being $1,000 to $1,200 is ridiculous. That's not how tariffs work. Tariffs are absorbed by the US, essentially, and passed on to the consumers. I think Trump's ultimate goal with his tariffs and his goal was, in his mind anyways, to bring factories and manufacturing back to the US. But the thing is, that's an incredibly huge, monumental, complex task to actually have happen. And you need a lot of infrastructure, and it's going to take years, if not decades, to make that plan work. And he's going to be out of office. And so tariffs ultimately just made groceries, made everyday things more expensive for everybody, essentially. That's apologies for the very personal question, but were you homeschooled by a pigeon? Number two, slowly introduce Europeans to the concept of drinking water. I'm starting a new business of importing American water to Europe to slowly introduce Europeans to the concept of drinking water. I'll call it TAP, which is short for True, American, and Pure. Surely this is a joke. It's actually kind of funny. And completely absurd at the same time. How will we tell the difference between your beer or your water? Yeah, American beer and water share a lot of similarities. True. It won't work. American water is imperial. Ours is metric. This person says, a joke, surely. I think so. It's, what is this, Twitter something? One of those platforms that's making us all stupid and destroying society. Number three, we're the most creative nation in the world. Sure, I mean, one of them. There's many creative nations in the world, though. Let's see what the meat of this post is. What would the world be like without the United States of America? Probably a lot more safe, a lot, more peaceful. We're the most creative nation in the world. Tell me one invention any other country has made that revolutionized the world. Wow. That is an incredibly ignorant statement. Bro, America is awesome, but come on, man. You seriously can't be this dumb to make that last claim. So many things were invented by different individuals, I'm going to say, and collectives and groups, teams, and very, very regularly and most often before the United States was even a thing. So, this guy says, rat-a-tattle, you are seriously uneducated. Here's an easy one. Cars were invented in Germany, Mercedes-Benz. Insulin is from Canada. You could literally list thousands of things. Plus, anything invented more than 250 years ago was not invented by Americans. Laugh out loud. Well said. I'm guessing education is still to be invented in America. Number four. Apparently Cleopatra VII was African American. That makes no sense because there was no I'm not really understanding the hate around this show. Egypt was obviously in Africa, so she could have been African American. We have no idea what she looked like, so we can't assume she could have been African American. Take a moment to think about what you just said there. This is a good spot for the meme, the Gordon Ramsay meme, and the two pieces of bread. What are you? An idiot sandwich. I think it's something like that. Shit sandwich. Something like that. She definitely was ahead of her time, but not like this. Someone got their history test handed back face down. Ma'am, Canada didn't even fight in World War... Excuse me? So maybe sit this one out. Canada joined the World War II effort September 10th, 1939. The U.S. joined the war effort in December of 1941. Yeah, Canadians were actually, for our population size and influence at the time, pretty vital to a lot of efforts in World War II. So that's incorrect. While in Germany, I found an Aldi. The Aldi is like a discount grocery store in Germany. The Aldi is nothing like an American Aldi. What even is an American Aldi? While in Germany, I found an Aldi. There's another chain of stores in America called Aldi. This Aldi is nothing like an American Aldi. I saw some of the same products, but nothing American or anything written in English. I was lost. You're in Germany. Why would they have things written in English? I mean, I'm sure there is lots of things written in English probably in Germany, but to assume and be surprised when you're in a foreign country that things aren't in English is pretty entitled and out of touch. You know, Aldi is a German store, and in any capacity, why would something be written in English in Germany? Yeah. A 2019 survey by the Council on Foreign Relations and National Geographic found that Americans only got about half the questions right on geography and world affairs. Only 6% scored 80% or higher, even though most say global issues matter to them. Yes, we've talked about this before. Americans and their extreme difficulty with world geography. Back in 2011, when Newsweek gave 1,000 Americans the official U.S. citizenship test, 29% couldn't name the vice president, and nearly three-quarters couldn't explain why the U.S. fought the Cold War. They aptly titled their result as How Ignorant Are Americans? Another survey found that more people could name characters from The Simpsons than the rights guaranteed by the First Amendment. Ouch. If America is 250 years old, how is Denmark sending mail for 400 years? Because they're older than America, and believe it or not, America is a fairly young country, compared to most places around the world. Denmark is older than the U.S. Oh dear. U.S. is very young compared to most countries. The Kingdom of Denmark is considered to be established in the 10th century. Crazy. I refuse to believe that most Americans are this dumb. Surely they have some geography and history lessons in school. Surely not. Neanderthals are not real. There is no such thing as a Neanderthal. No one has ever found evidence of one, nor has there been any scientific proof of them ever existing. That's funny, because I could have sworn there's a Neanderthal and a group of Neanderthals that are running the United States right now. One example of evidence of Neanderthals, a Neanderthal specimen found in 1856. Yet they have a prominent brow. I believe they have a very prominent brow. A lot of grunting. I know a country with a population of 145 million Neanderthals. I don't know what country they're talking about. The U.S. has a lot more than 145 million. I don't know. Maybe were they trying to rip on the U.S.? American women don't have armpit hair. That's not how armpit hair works. Where is it normal for a biological woman to have hairy armpits? Literally everywhere. Not here in America, it's not. Babe, I hate to break it to you, but American women also have armpit hair. They do not. They in fact do, and like many other millions of people in the population, it's a societal and cultural norm to shave that area. It is a norm. A lot of people don't do it. I think we've been kind of programmed now to aesthetically find it strange when we see. But if there's an apocalypse or something, I wouldn't find it strange. Nobody's going to find it strange. So yeah, it's normal. Very normal. And it's kind of it must be kind of annoying. I don't know. If I was a woman, you got to shave your armpits all the time. Or maybe it's not. It's not that hard, right? A little bit of shaving cream and that's not too bad. Could be worse. Perhaps he's never met a real woman. What is a real woman? Bored Panda spoke to George A. Barnett, PhD, a professor of communication at the University of California, to understand why some Americans are clueless and what perpetuates this stereotype. The U.S. is isolated from the rest of the world, with direct contacts only with Canada and Mexico. This makes travel to other countries difficult. Only 20% have passports to visit other countries, and those with passports tend to be those who go on cruises or to all-inclusive resorts, which are very insulated and you're really not learning anything. He believes that a lot of American news media outlets mostly concentrate on domestic events, not on what is taking place around the world. True. Research indicates that the media only reports on those countries that are physically proxemic and culturally and economically similar. So Canada and Mexico, and some European news sprinkled in there. Other parts of the world, Zip. Insulin is a privilege, not a right. Average price for a vial of insulin in the world is $8.81. Insulin is a privilege, not a right. It defies the natural order of life. You need to appreciate it through the price system. Otherwise, you would waste it. What type of evil capitalist sentiment am I reading? They make a good point, this person says. My insulin in Australia is free, and I'm very frivolous with it. I add it to soups and stews, use it for watering pot plants, and even bathe in it sometimes. Perhaps I'd be less wasteful if I had to pay $1 gazillion for it. Nice. The sass. You ought to have a basic grasp of Latin if you're working in Latin America. Just saw a job ad for a Latin teacher. Ad specified that successful applicant must be a native speaker of the language. Good luck with that. Latin is a dead language, right? Hardly anybody speaks Latin. You know, Indiana Jones, I think, speaks Latin, or he can read Latin. So I'm not sure if they... Yeah, I don't know what's going on in this post, honestly. That's the language of 570 million people speak in Latin America. Good luck with what? Sometimes I can't tell if a comment is satire or not. That's really how we're living, right? We're living in an idiocracy. Like the film. I need to watch it again. Could someone like Jimmy Kimmel even exist in Germany? What? Yes, they could. Could someone like Jimmy Kimmel even exist in Germany? But what do you mean? I need more context for your question. Jimmy Kimmel is a comedian who appears on American television every weeknight. He is known for making political jibes at the current president and ruling party. My question is, would this even be tolerated in Germany? In the US, licenses to broadcast over the public airwaves are granted by the government to private companies, and the broadcasting antennas are all separately owned by other private companies. In Germany, aren't all broadcast facilities owned by the government? Are the people who appear on television government employees, essentially? Would a comedian be able to appear on Germany television and criticize Friedrich Merz consistently night after night? I think Germany already has things like that. I think of programs like Extra Jai, Extra 3. That is a satire program which rips on anybody and everybody from what I've seen. Maybe read at least a bit about German television before embarrassing yourself. For real, I spat out my drink reading this. Yeah, Germany is famous for their outspoken, I think, comedians, and cabaret is one of the art forms that they have, which is basically like, it's similar to a stand-up comedian, except they're making really there is more of a political slant to it. So political cabaret, watch some if you ever get a chance. They are the masters at it. So good stuff. Gestapo will hunt down and find anyone who makes jokes. Germans will not tolerate any form of joke. Yes, the German stereotype of not being funny, things like that. But yeah, interestingly enough, Trump basically, through his vassals, tried to get Kimmel off the air, and he consistently does that with anybody who criticizes him. The dude his skin is as thin as a freaking sushi wrapper. Like, I don't know, like, he's got the thinnest skin of anybody on the planet. Barnett notes that the American educational system focuses heavily on American and Western European civilization and history. We are taught nothing about Asia, Africa, or Latin America. He says research on social media also indicates that people have network ties with only those that are similar, which could be another reason why Americans are less aware about the rest of the world. Yes, people live in bubbles and vacuums, and unfortunately, social media exacerbates that, galvanizes that, pushes people down rabbit holes and corners to people like them so they can all rabble, grab pitchforks and, torches and go outside and chase after whatever thing they've been told to chase after that day is. Yeah. Critical thinking for yourself. Having a nuanced stance. Looking at anything with any sort of complexity or subtlety is like, no. It's got to be black and white. You're either with us, you're against us. 13. We'll do 15, okay, for today. And we'll continue on this list. This list is pretty funny so far. Number 13. I agree. American beer is drunk by 99.9% of the world. We just call it water everywhere else. For all you clueless Germans, American beer may not have been first, but it's the best. Huh? Ay, ay, ay. I refuse to submit to the British mind virus of adding random U's. Labour is anti-LGBT. This is about Labour. I refuse to submit to the British mind virus of adding random U's. It's a proper noun, as well as a British political party. This all has to do with the different spellings of words in the United Kingdom versus North America. I really don't care. Like, Canada does the same thing. We spell a lot of words like color. Yeah, we add the U, I think, in Canada. Whereas in the States, it's COLOR. Big deal. I, as an American, cannot fathom the fact how some of my fellow country people apparently can't handle the fact that it's the same language with just a few words spelled slightly differently. Or that American English did not come first since, the whole colonies thing. Seriously, though, how can you look at the word color and apparently get angrily offended by the letter U? I would tend to agree, Lakota Wolf. I would tend to agree. The Universal 13th Amendment. Nice try, but slavery is illegal. Has been since 1865. Actually, there's a 13th Amendment, the one where they can put inmates, basically have inmate slavery. United States laws certainly apply all over the world, don't they? I'd like you to show me the exact line in the 13th Amendment that says this only applies to the U.S. Okay, so this person's just being absolutely absurd. I think actively reading these is lowering my IQ. I tend to agree. This person is either being obtuse or just a troll. I don't know. They have to be. Curious, though. What is the 13th Amendment? 13th Amendment in the U.S. 13th Amendment of the United States Constitution officially abolished slavery and involuntary servitude across the country. Okay, the 13th Amendment. Right, that's what I thought it was. I mean, I knew it was that, but I thought there was an additional point to it. Permanently outlawed chattel slavery and peonage, and with one notable exception as a punishment for a convicted crime. Yeah, that's right. So that's the adage that I was thinking about. So you can do slave work. It's just as penance for your crimes, even if you were innocent. All right, we'll see you all on the next one. Make sure to get involved in the conversation down below. My name is Mace, coming to you from Canada. Take care of yourselves. Until next time, peace out.